Yeah, there's no limit. So there's really no excuses because of the opportunity of social media. It's just like, okay, well, I need to go and put more work in if I want more results.
Welcome back to Abundant Culture Podcast,
where we dissect the mindsets and tactics of the true beasts of business.
People like Gary Vee, Grant Cardone, and Warren Buffett.
All to create a blueprint to experience life more abundantly.
Hey everyone, welcome back to your favorite podcast once again. This week, we are so excited to have you, as we are per usual, but we're so excited to have you because we're talking about marketing and more specifically, lead generation. Now, some of you may have the question, what's more important, sales or marketing? We discussed that in this podcast episode. Not only do we talk about sales and marketing, but we're also talking about the mindset behind it and investing in your business as well. So this is an episode you do not want to miss. So get ready to listen to and learn from our good friends, Isabel Badell and Vanessa Black of IVLeadz. So hi, Isabel and Vanessa. We are so excited to have you guys onto the podcast. I just want to say a quick little story before we begin for our listeners about how we met you guys. So for everyone listening, we were both at the Grant Cardone 10X GrowthCon 4 in Miami in February. So I forgot how we even reached out, but I know we were searching hashtags and just trying to connect with all these people. And we found you guys on social media, or you found us somehow through the hashtags. And then we met them there. And as we're meeting them, this is when we were still the MIMS Group Incorporated, which was just a sad logo and name and everything. So we're telling them about we want to rebrand. And they're like, okay, so tell me some words, what words jump out at you? And we're saying all these words. And then I forgot which one of you said it, but you were like, how about abundant culture? And we're like, yeah. So we have to give them all the praise for the abundant culture name because they helped us come up with it. So they were like an indirect influence of the Abundant Culture podcast.
Awesome.
So
Back to
the podcast episode now. This time we'll be talking about leads and marketing and all that. But before we get into all that good stuff, tell us, how did you get into business? What's the story behind that?
Absolutely. Well, we love the name Abundant Culture, first of all, so that's awesome. And I remember you guys, meeting each other at that, and you guys had such an incredible energy. Yeah. When we first met, so I'm so glad, we're still connected here, today. For sure. So as far as our story and how we got into business, well, it was really unexpected, right? As far as what we're doing today with helping coaches and business owners all over the world to not only build their brand and visibility, but most importantly, generate those consistent leads. And so, that was nothing we ever had in a business plan. We each did something totally different, right? So I went to school for sport management. And, I love sports. I did life coaching certification. So I was into the human mind and, just people. And then Isabel went to school for something completely different.
Yeah. My degree is in architecture. So I know how to build you a house, how to design it online, whatever. But who would have thought today we're building infrastructures for businesses, all over the world.
Yeah.
So it all comes full circle in a way.
Yeah. And so we met each other while we were both working our prospective jobs. She was at an architecture firm. I was bartending and serving at a restaurant. All right. And we said, okay, let's go because we love to travel. So we said, let's go to Asia and just travel around for a month. Right. Let's just have some fun. So we booked literally the entire month of different places. We had all the flights ready to go. And we both have the entrepreneurial spirit. So we were we know we're not going to be doing what we're currently doing. I think that was the main mindset of it. We both individually were we need to create something awesome. That's a business. So we went on this trip. fast forward, as it was approaching its end of the month, and we had our flight back to Miami because we're from South Florida, we literally just, looked at each other and we're like, why should we go back? Right? We didn't want to go back to our jobs. And we're like, let's just make something happen here.
We intentionally missed our flight. Intentional.
Yeah,
Nice.
we intentionally missed it. At that time, we were both living at our parents' home. Like, I was living at my parents, she was living at her parents' house. And so we said, let's make something happen. We didn't know what it was going to be, but we had to make some money because at that point, we had no more money left. Like, Isabel had one credit card left with, like, how much was on it?
It was $300.
Yeah.
Thank God for that, because, like, that was literally our rent for, like, the entire month. So for that to happen, like, it was like saying, like, oh my God, like, that's it. Like, we got a roof, a toilet, some water, and, like, we're done. We got to make it happen.
Right. Yeah.
And so from there, we kept just like talking about what can we do? So we literally put both of our things together. And it has evolved to what we actually do today. Because at that point, right, we're in Asia. We knew we had to connect with people in America, in Europe, in Canada, people that could invest in what we actually could provide value with. But at the same time, we could add value to them with our skill sets put together. Right. So we started with like creating little websites in here because Isabel knew how to make websites. And so that's how it evolved. But then our strategy of getting clients, once we implemented and committed to it, we were like, wow, we have something here, and we realized the need. And so that's a bit of our story and how what we do today has continued to evolve in, our business today. If we never would have made that decision to stay, we would not be where we are today, for sure.
Yeah. And I just always find it amazing how, like, these like life-changing events seem so small in the moment. But it just grows over time to be something that you could never really imagine. Like, wow, like I never would have thought I would have had a podcast after meeting with you guys with the name that you guys helped me to come up with. And the same thing with you guys. I'm pretty sure like you didn't really know what it'll turn out to be, but you just had that that faith that it will really grow.
Yeah.
And
that amount of faith in yourselves was like that was crazy.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. So kind of give us a little bit of insight on what exactly is IVLeadz. What is that company about? What does it do? Just kind of explain that for our audience so they can get a really clear understanding of that.
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to the digital realm, there's a couple of different ways to actually get leads, get visibility, get credibility and trust within your audience. So we come in for a lot of business owners, either in the beginning phases of their business or even people making 7 figures and up that are just looking to re-nurture that audience, reconnect, and of course, generate qualified leads from all that. We work from Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. So we're really able to tap into your specific target market using the strategies that we put in place because nothing in our company is automated. We don't believe in bots. We don't believe in automations. We just don't do paid ads. So it's strictly focusing on who you have, who you want to connect with, and of course, re-nurturing that process so that human-to-human connection is still inevitable.
Mm-hmm. And not only
the digital realm.
Yeah, not only are we providing these services now, but through the years of working with different types of business owners, we constantly were getting asked, like, they weren't ready for the services, not everybody, to invest it, but they wanted to learn how to actually build it from the ground up or how to generate themselves. So we've launched a lot of courses recently. Now we're having a mastermind, masterclass. And so we're having all of those different types. So anybody can literally, begin to work with us and we can begin to help that person as well with wherever they currently are. We have something to provide.
Yeah, it's support and accountability as well. Some people, they just don't know how to start. Like they feel like they might need to invest thousands of dollars into a service where in reality, you just don't need to. So we actually provide you the tools to establish a solid foundation and get results like the next day. Mm-hmm. It's crazy.
And that's how it evolved. Because like going back to, we had no money. We didn't have thousands of dollars to invest in like Facebook or Instagram ads, right?
Yeah.
Like we literally didn't have a lot of time. So we said, look, like from today to tomorrow, how do we meet somebody? Yeah. Get on the phone, and be able to offer what
we
have.
couldn't even get on phones. That's the thing.
At that point.
We were stuck in Vietnam. Like, we were just stuck in Vietnam. We couldn't go back to Thailand. We were stuck there because our visa. And then we're like, how the heck are we going to go back home to Thailand, right? So, like, and we couldn't do the whole phone thing because it was a SIM card. So we literally had to go into people's DM and say, hi, how are you?
And
this
then
is
Zoom.
Us. This is how we do things.
Yeah, and then
how's it going?
And then we met on Zoom. That's how we found out of Zoom,
Exactly.
what we're on right now, because you can speak to anybody in the world, you know, and that whole video aspect. So that's what we use as our phone.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you couldn't use the phone. So you had to go to technology to like grow in your business. That's insane because everybody nowadays is like, yeah, I'll just make a quick phone call. It's nothing. But like, what if you don't have that? So you guys were like super resourceful.
Yeah. That would make
we just started using the phones like recently in the office. So now we're like, wait, we have a phone, we can follow up.
Yeah, like I remember the first time we got like an AT&T like connection here in the States, I was like, this is it. Like, this is what
we made it.
We made it. Yeah. Someone's calling me right now.
Yeah, like
So
at
weird.
first we would stare at our phone like, what? Because only our parents would, you know, so it was kind of like, wait, we have a business. Hey, you know, like as far as like phones goes, you know?
Yeah. That would make like a good movie or something. Right. So one thing you all mentioned is that you don't do like a lot of paid ads. Could you explain that to people? Because honestly, like I know a lot of people that I know, including myself, I thought like, you know, paid ads would be like the only way really. So like, can you explain how kind of what you do is a lot different from paid ads and why you try to steer away from that for the most part?
Yeah, well, we haven't really implemented it at all for our business up and like it's not to say we're never going to implement it because we look at Facebook and Instagram ads as kind of like a billboard, right? When the 10X Growth Con was going up there, you saw billboards.
Yeah.
People weren't going to probably go call the number or purchase the ticket right away in the first time, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But once you pass it maybe 15, 16 times, or you have a conversation with somebody else and they talk about it, then you're like, oh, yeah, I remember 10X. Oh, I know those people. And then eventually down the road, maybe 3 months later, then maybe you purchase a ticket.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how we see Facebook ads. And it's great for visibility, engagement. And we will get into that because in order to get to, let's say, multiple 7 figures and getting millions of people to know you, like that's what you have to do. You know what I mean? And so that's when you're taking your brand. But, right, we've been not using it just like you mentioned because it wasn't even a thing for us. Like, it wasn't even a choice at that time. So what we started implementing is because I was in the industry of network marketing, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with the MLM industry.
Yep. That's how we started.
Yeah.
Awesome. Incredible industry. And all this goes to show like the strategies and the coaching that I learned from being in the industry was the same, very similar to what we're doing now in the digital, but it was in the physical. Like they would say, okay, you got to meet at least 10 people per day or 20 people per day, but you got to go out there in your car. You got to go say, hey, my name is Vanessa, right? So difficult, hard, right? We tried to do that the other day and it was even like, it's difficult if you're not practicing every day with new people.
For sure.
You know what I mean? So we literally, I knew that was a strategy to meet people. So we're like, okay, let's commit 3 months, 500 people per month. Because they always thought it's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game. It's not like you're going to talk to 10 people and then you're going to get 5 clients. Like that's not the case. Right. So there is a lot of emotional, you're going to have to take rejection. You're going to have to, you know, because not everybody's going to be ready at that point. You know?
My training was not in network marketing. I have never reached out to anyone in the DM. Like that's not my thing. So mind you, while we were doing this activity and we're tracking it on literally our window, like literally had a little marker and just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because we needed to hit 17 per day each because we were doing 1,000 a month. right? And from that 1,000 a month, we got a few different clients, which was awesome, right? But like the first couple of days was like, damn it, like Stacy, like she's the best one, and she's not even responding back to me. And this one told me to like never talk to her again. What? Why? I'm a great person, you know? Yeah, people like will say no to you. People will say yes, right? But it's all about the growth factor in this, because this is more like that sweat equity, that grind, putting into it, because that's what abundance is all about in a way, right? Touching back on that. It's like, if you have something incredible to offer and you know that's the solution to their problem, it would be selfish of me to not reach out to you, right?
Absolutely.
And how do you translate that into a DM, into a connection, into, hey, this is just me. This is something that I saw in your profile that aligned to me. Is this something, and then this is what I do. Is this something that's in alignment with you? Yeah. And then that's where the yes or no's, or like, yeah, tell me more. Like, yeah, actually, that makes sense.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the strategy that we implement through all platforms. Just scaling it. When you scale it, now it's not 500 or 1,000 people per month. Well, now, as you want to scale and get more connections and get more clients, now you're just talking to more people. So now you're talking to 3,000-4,000 people. Yeah. You know, through all the different platforms. So it's just like the physical. When you go to an event, right, and you're like, hey, my name is, right, you're connecting. Now, what are you going to talk about? Yeah. You know what I mean? Right. So that's the same exact thing, but it's through the opportunities of social media that, you know, allows us to be able to do that freely. It's just, how do you cut through the noise? And that's a skill, right? It's bringing in that personal touch, not sounding automated or a messenger bot like everybody else is doing. Like people are receiving hundreds per day. So how are you going to cut through those noises? You know, so that's also where we come in, and it continues to evolve. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely amazing, because like when I invited you guys on, or when we decided to invite you guys on, we thought there was going to be like this, and you probably do have some type of secret sauce, but we expected it to be like more complicated than that. Mm-hmm. Like, so you guys were basically every day DMing 17 people each in the beginning and telling them what you do, and basically asking for the sale if there's some type of alignment there or something like that.
Yeah, so we didn't ask for the sale right away, right? There's a connecting point. So, but you're right. There's nothing complicated about it. No. Like, it's so simple, like, because, I mean, we're not that intelligent over here, right? It's really simple. It's like, it's just doing it over and over again, the consistency, and being disciplined to do it. But also, like, in the direct message, yeah, we reach out our hand, but before that, we're engaging in their profile a little bit, liking, commenting, right? Personal things on their photos to capture their attention. Because, you know, when you receive a comment on your photo, you're like, and it's a real one, you're probably like, oh, who is this new person?
No fire emojis, no thumbs up, none of that. It's more like, if you posted something about your recent vacation or your dog or your family, we're like, that's such a cute dog. You know, I just sent you a DM, by the way. I'm looking forward to connecting.
Yeah, and then so from the DM, we didn't do this right in the beginning, but what we came up with was the lead magnet, our website, everything which we drove people towards, and now we build for our clients, is a survey funnel, right? Meaning when they respond back and they're like, yeah, I'm interested, absolutely. Well, we come back and say, you know, I would love to give you more information, but I would just love to gain a little bit more insight in your specific business goals. And then directly after you share that with me, I can share with you more exact information, right? This way I'm not going to share with you 1,000 different things. I want to serve you and your goals, right? And so I'm like, okay, answer those quick questions below in the link. It takes less than 20 seconds, right? And directly after, I'll be in touch. So they go through there, they answer the quick questions, and now you're building up your database. So it's not only that one connection, but now you're building a business, and then you can connect with them based on what they shared, and then get on a call. You know, so it's like that handshake. Mm-hmm. I'm not meeting you at a networking event, and I'm like, and you're like, hey, I'm Joseph, and I'm like, hey, I'm Vanessa. And I'm like, hey, let's schedule an appointment.
Right.
Right. So we're piquing their interest. We're qualifying them. They're also seeing more about us. And then that's how that small but quick, it's a quick connection can take place,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you said no fire emojis and no thumbs up emojis.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like those things are getting so old and so weird. Like it's just so random, people. And then not only that, let's talk about more like structural like things that are going to be affecting how we actually use Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Like all automations are going out the window. So if you've ever used any automations in the past, whether you downloaded an app to check out your followers, or you downloaded an app to unfollow people, or you downloaded an app to schedule your posts, like all these different factors are now flagged on your account, right? So now whenever like you have an automation in the back, just sending out random DMs or like liking or commenting or doing that type of activity.
Instagram is blocking.
Yeah, you're going to get blocked. You're going to be flagged. So when people are like, I want to increase my brand awareness. I want to get more followers so my DMs can be seen. I want to just reach more people, more qualified people.
Yep.
But in the past you've done that, it's kind of like you're trying to run a marathon and all you've been eating is Funyuns for the past 3 months, Yeah,
they're cracking down on the high activity that's taking place. It doesn't mean that this strategy, if you're going really high, you're not going to get blocked. You may, but that's any life. Like people are doing Facebook ads, As you're expanding, you're going to need more of a team. You're going to need more activity. So, things will come throughout it. But automations, Instagram is really kind of like taking away automations. They don't want people to use that.
Yeah, so where we come in is just reinforcing that.
I can't find the answer to that on Apple Watch.
Yeah.
He couldn't find the answer to the messenger bot.
That was like so appropriate. Like, yeah. Like I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So just keeping that human to human connection alive. I think that's one of the main things that's lacking nowadays. Yes, it's true. People are on their phones daily. If you go out to dinner, you're going to be on your phone. If you're going to be in a meeting, your phone is right there. If you're going to be living your life, your phone is right there. It's for a reason. Yeah. We treat our phone as the tool. It's like an ATM. So if we're going to be investing in this device that we're going to be carrying around everywhere, it's only logical and fruitful to actually maximize it to its capacity.
Definitely. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So a question that I just thought of, well, he actually thought of it the other day and I just remembered it. What do you guys think is more important, sales or marketing?
That's a good one.
Definitely marketing, right? Because there's no sale without marketing.
Yeah.
Right? You can only get the sale when you're on the call or you take it to that level. I mean, they're both important, but the first thing that would come would be the marketing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I totally agree with you on that, just because like, I spent like the first part of my career, like just really getting good at just sales and talking to people, because I used to be a very, very shy, nervous, antisocial person. So I had to really work on that. And then I got decent at it, but then I realized like I was seeing other people get more sales than I was, and I was like the better salesperson. So I'm like, wait a minute, what am I missing? And then like when I got further into business, I was like, oh, there's this thing called marketing that I haven't been doing. I've been like calling like, 2 to 5 people a day and expecting to close all of them, which like never happens, right? But I really do believe that marketing really, and if you look at a lot of big companies, I've noticed is that a lot of times they might not necessarily have to sell all that much. Like if you think about
marketing kind of just
does it for them. If you go to Walmart, like they don't have people to close you at Walmart, right? Or like, McDonald's, they may close you on like a fry or something like that, but you were already there. Like the marketing kind of brought you in. So I totally agree with
when
that.
You get that big, for sure. Yeah. And you know, we listen to Grant Cardone, so he's always like, you know, if people don't know you, they can't flow you, right?
Yeah,
so
definitely.
those are the things, like, you know.
And the
like,
thing about marketing, it's an art, you know, just like a sale, it's an art, it's a process, right? So it's like with marketing, you have to say the same exact message 15 different ways for someone to actually understand what the heck you're saying.
Yes.
You know? So that's the cool thing about marketing. Like, you can never be wrong, right? It's just a matter of staying consistent and then trying new things out. Like, that's the cool thing about it. It's like, have you all seen Breaking Bad?
I said I was gonna start watching it, but I never started watching it. And my friend used to watch it in like high school, and he was like, "Dude, you should start this." I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I know the like kind of the gist of it. Yeah.
So just overall, like, if you mix cooking, right? If you're mixing in specific things to create a cake, right? You got to put the flour first. You got to put the eggs, whatever. If you miss one thing in that cake, best believe it's either going to overflow in your oven, or it's going to explode, or it's going to come out weird, right? So over time, you're learning this recipe just like grandma would, you know, like she knows how to do it like eyes closed because she's been doing it for like 20 years, and that cake comes out bomb, right? But the thing is, that's where we're learning as a culture, right? Like, everyone's trying to market themselves. Everyone's trying to sell.
Yeah,
3 years
it's
later,
everything that you need. You know?
3 years later, now we're getting a DM like, "Hey, by the way, I've been following you guys for like a year now, and like you guys haven't stopped, and like I was wondering if you guys have a guide."
No, that's a great point. Like, because a lot of people we speak to also, there's a couple things here. They're like, okay, if I post consistently, if I do just that, then people are just gonna, you know, reach out to me saying I want to work with you. Like, that's not gonna happen. Like, it's not. Right? Or if it does happen here and there, it's not going to happen consistently enough.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's to our point. Like, we're just getting a few. We couldn't run a business off of it, but we're getting a few people that are messaging us. Cool. But there's no way that we can build a business waiting for people to actually reach out to us. One.
For sure.
Another thing that's important is you do need to have the marketing as far as your brand, because when you do connect with people on the back end, or even if you have a Facebook ad, or you're messaging someone, or you meet somebody at a restaurant, the first thing that they're going to look at is, let me go check out their Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. If you have poor content, if you don't have content, right, or it's like really cheap looking, you know, free things, how are you going to attract somebody to spend thousands of dollars into your business?
Yeah,
you know
for sure.
And there's millions of people that do the same thing that you do, very similar. So like, especially if you're trying to attract high quality clients that are going to drop the $2, $3, $4, $50,000, like your profile does have to look like,
it has to look like it's worth $50,000.
You know?
It wasn't until we started actually investing into the business that we were able to actually ask, "Hey, I need you to pay $50,000 for this particular product and service," because shit, we've done it, you know? So now, like, we have the confidence to actually ask for that. And I think that's what a lot of people try to steer away from. Like, if you're willing to invest in you, people are willing to invest in you.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And like, it just, that thing of like, when you know the value that you bring to the table, that other person could sense it. That's why, like I always tell people, like, you know, price really is made up. Like, whether I charge you like $50,000 or $1 million, like there's a client out there that will pay it. But you have to be confident in the value that you bring, and you guys are definitely confident about the value you bring. One, because you have results. So I do like that about you guys. And kind of just starting to wrap it up a little bit here, what are some of the pros and cons of actually using social media to generate leads? Are there any cons at all? Kind of let me know what's you guys' take on that for the people who might have a social media page but aren't using it to generate leads, really.
I think well, the cons, I was focused on the pros. The cons are the bad things, right?
Yeah, the cons are the bad things.
So some cons that came up, like if you're just focusing on, let's say, online, is you and you're just depending on that, but you're not building the skill sets to actually communicate and build relationships in the physical, right? Yeah. Or even picking up a phone to follow up, right? Because those things are necessary to actually get to the next level. It will get you only so far, but as you're expanding, and what if Instagram goes out tomorrow, or Facebook, or LinkedIn? Yeah. Like literally, that's the question. Like, you're not in control of it. So if you're not building those skill sets or building, let's say, a real relationships of like your database, where say Instagram did go out tomorrow, like you should be confident. Okay, what's the next move? I have the skill sets to pick up a phone. You know, those different things. I think that could be a con of depending so much and not growing your skill sets in other ways.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure. Definitely.
I mean, a con would be not doing it. Like, just simply not doing it.
Yeah.
Why would you not do it? I mean, it's 2020.
Yeah, that's true.
You're a pro.
No, like a con. Like, if someone was to say, like, what's the pros and cons of social media? Like, you know, the con is like, why aren't you doing it? You know, you're not creating something. You're not really leaving anything for someone else to pick up on. Yeah. Because, like, I think what a lot of people are struggling with is, like, maybe the older generation, or even now, it's like there's a pride to them that's like, I don't need social media. Like, I don't really need to show myself out there. I already proved myself. Yeah. Nobody really knows you though.
Or they don't think their clients on there.
Oh my gosh, that's a big one.
And that's what I look at is you see all the big, for example, Grant Cardone, right? He says on every single platform, even if it's Snapchat where there's 14-year-olds, those 14-year-olds tell their parents that have millions of dollars to invest in Cardone Capital or into Grant Cardone, right? So when you're saying your client is not there, it's not just for the online world. Everybody's on it, first of all. But at the same day, like, you meet somebody in the physical, they're coming to you on the digital after that.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they definitely are. Yeah.
And for like, and you guys have probably done it, but like if we meet somebody in the physical, well, the first thing we look at is like, hey, what's your Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn?
I don't care.
And then we can kind of see, you know, where they are. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And even now, go ahead.
I'm done.
I was just saying, even now, like it's like, even when you go to certain networking events, if like the crowd is younger, I realize that it's almost a little awkward to ask for somebody's like actual like phone number. So like a lot of times we'll just trade social media information and like just like communicate that way for the most part. A lot of times,
like even LinkedIn, they have like QR codes. So I'm like, yeah, let me just scan your code real quick. We'll connect.
Yeah.
Nice. It's a lot easier because
One other con that just came up, and we'll go into the pros. I don't know why we're doing all the cons.
Just get it out the way first.
Another con is that people, I feel like we take it, you could take it for granted, or you can take it because it's free. You feel like, oh, I am in business now. I can just put a profile and I'm a business owner, right? But what we teach to look at your profile is, just because it's free, it doesn't mean you don't have to invest in it like you had a physical place. Right? So imagine a physical place. If you're really in business, right? You guys know because you guys do the physical place thing, right? Well, how much is rent?
It ranges a lot. Like we had one project where the rent was only $900 a month, but another place is going to be like $20,000 a month.
There you go.
Okay, so that's two different rents. Now, how about to fill in the place with actual inventory?
With inventory?
That's even more.
Oh yeah, that's way more. Yeah, that's like.
Give me a number.
For the coffee shop.
Yeah, for the coffee shop is actually very low. So for the coffee shop, it may cost like maybe $2,000 to $3,000,
like $3,000 maybe.
Yeah, $3,000 a month or something.
Fill it up per month, but it's consistent per month because you have to get
per
more.
Month. Yeah.
Right. So even that, the 3,000 and the 900, that's about 4,000.
Yep.
Right. Was there anything? What about the decorations? Like to decorate it, not just the product.
Oh yeah, to decorate it.
I mean, maybe like just just $100 a month. It depends on the season.
Yeah, it depends on the season. But
okay. Yeah. So also, how about the marketing? Like the physical marketing to get people to the store.
Oh yeah, like the signage. We get lucky because her dad's a printer, so we didn't have to.
Well, how much does that cost?
He could end up paying like $100 per sign or something like that, right?
Right. So that'd probably be about $400.
Yeah.
And that's inexpensive. That's the inexpensive route. If you look at the other, so that's around $4,500. Inexpensive. Well, the Wi-Fi, all of that.
Let's go with 6,000.
Yeah, the it's going to be up with the Wi-Fi and all of that, right? Yeah, 6,000 per month.
Yeah.
And then the employees.
And then you got employees.
And the employees. So now we're talking about real business. So the con is that, I'm an entrepreneur now all of a sudden. I can get my Instagram, but now I just think that clients are going to come to me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Or I'm complaining about an investment of like $500 or $1,000, but you're not even paying rent. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge con of like not seeing, of like people not understanding what real business is because it's so accessible to be a business owner online.
Yeah. And I'm glad you guys actually brought that up because like, like I've noticed that same thing where it's like everybody just,
that everybody will put entrepreneur in their bio.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason like in our bio we put business owner because like what we want is to have like an asset that we can sell to an investor really. Mm-hmm. So like we have, overhead inventory, we have employees, we have like, like my shop's open right now, but I'm not there right now. So it's a legitimate business system, and that costs a lot of money. And I think people kind of think like, because we're on social media, I don't have to invest anything. And it's like, no, you definitely do. You might not have to invest as much, but you definitely need some type of investment there. Like there's no company on the face of the planet that grew successfully to like 6, 7, or 8 figures without investing anything into it. It doesn't make any sense. And, it's like a big pet peeve of mine when I see people like not willing, especially if you have the money. It's different when like you're starting out and you're struggling and you're trying, you're scraping pennies. I get that. But like when people have the money and they're like, no, I saved that $1,000. I'm like, dude, if you don't pay the $1,000, like just do it. Like it's so irritating. And I'm not even in you guys' shoes where I like consult people on like the, to invest in their own business. Or I kind of do, but not in the same way. So like, I can only imagine you guys are like, come on, like we see that you have the money. Right? That is going to be a return. Like, stop complaining. Just do it. Yeah. Big pet peeve.
I think a pro is actually social media. You can actually see a return a lot quicker than a physical store. If I put up like dozens of signs, if I blow up a balloon and that thing is
right. The wavy arm thingy.
Yeah, out of the 100 cars that pass by, maybe you'll get 1 or 2 that's like, oh, they're open.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But in social media, it's like you invest $1,000, and depending on your products and services, you will get a return eventually. Maybe even that same month.
Yeah, or even zero. Like we started with zero. Like we shared with you, right? And you could start from there. That's a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's a real blessing, and to be able to connect with people anywhere. There's so many pros.
Yeah.
Right. You can connect with anyone in the world. Like how is that? And then do business with them and build that relationship.
You can be in your PJs.
You can literally do whatever.
Scheduling a call that will change your life for the next day. Like, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah, there's no limit. So there's really no excuses because of the opportunity of social media. It's just like, okay, well, I need to go and put more work in if I want more results,
I think another pro is like actually connecting with people that are beautiful, like inside and out. Like Federica, Warrior Goddess, like our clients that have, I'm sorry, I'm like moving this around like it's something.
She's eating ice cream right now.
But like the people that we've met, it's just so incredible to actually see their journey, like having them start off with like absolutely no presence on digital realm, right? Or even being scared to pick up your phone because there's a camera attached to it, and now they're on it like, hey y'all, today's Tuesday. Let's talk about something.
And the funny thing is, we met you through the digital, even though you were in the same building of the physical, right? Yeah. So there was like 35,000 people there, but we were able to connect with you because of the digital. So it's also being creative, like even tapping into events. Like we had a strategy in that event to say, everybody that is hashtagging this hashtag, go out, our team, send this message. We want to connect with a lot of business owners this event in these next 2 to 3 days. Right. So being able to implement the strategy and be creative in different ways, we were able to meet. We still talk to a lot of people that we met on that. One of our biggest clients that we met at that doing the strategy, even though we were in the same physical. Mm-hmm. The main point is, how are we going to capture their attention? How are we going to get through the 35,000 people, to find that group of people?
Yeah. In those 3 days, like we connected with like dozens of people. Yeah. Like, thank God we were like in that little suite. That we were like, hey, just come to the suite, just come here. Like,
it was easier.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, think about that. That was our storefront. That was our place of business at that moment in time, and we invited you to the store. Right.
Definitely.
And we were the customer representative. We were the ones showing you, like, we were doing the whole entire thing. But the thing is, it's all about how we actually initiated that conversation. And now we're here today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think one of the other pros is just the fact that, like, kind of like you said, initiating that conversation online is a lot of times easier. Cause like when you were in network marketing, having to walk up to a physical person while they're like reading the paper or something like that, you don't know how hostile this person might be. And I've done it before where it's like, basically get out of my face. And it's like, that would have been a lot easier to take online.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a much easier. Like, it's much easier because we went back. I haven't done that in a while. We did it the other day, and it's just like, I remember I could not talk to a stranger. Like, I would be nervous. Like you were saying, you're shy. Like that was me. But you have to put in that, practice and force yourself to do that. But people, even online, it's very difficult for people to do online because they can't handle the rejection, or the opinions. When you still think about somebody else's opinion of what they're going to say, you're not able to implement the strategy because you're so concerned of what the other person's going to think.
Right. Definitely.
Mm-hmm. So, what is the number one takeaway that you guys would like somebody to walk away with from this episode?
Do it. Like,
do it.
Just
do it.
Do it. Like, if you're looking to change your life in the next 5 years, if you're looking to not be in the same place that you are today, and you actually want to receive that abundance in your life, you have to make a change. Like, if you consider yourself a normal human being that is positive, that wants to make a change, that is into the whole awesome lifestyle type of thing, you got to put in some work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say, like, start with a plan, like reach out to 34 people per day, find them through hashtags, whatever profile you want, and don't quit. Like, so focus on the activity, not the instant result that you're getting back. Because there may be skill sets you have to improve on, right? At the end of the day, it works. Yeah. So if it's not working or you're not getting feedback, there's something that has to be added. Like, you can't just pick and choose. Yeah. Like, okay, if I'm going to reach out, well, I also have to be consistent on my profile. It takes work and time and energy, especially if you're not starting with any money to hire us, right? You're going to have to put in the sweat equity.
Yeah, definitely.
There's no choice, So you choose one or the other, but don't quit. Like, just keep going,
Yeah. And you guys have definitely inspired me to do that, just because I do reach out messages as well, but I just have this big consistency issue where I'll do it on Monday and then I won't do it again until like Thursday. And when I do it, I'm doing like, 10 and 20 at a time, but it's like, I want to get to the point where I do it like every single day. Like, it's part of my routine. So I'm going to work on that. So you not only help my viewers with that, but you've personally helped me just remember, like, okay, did you reach out to somebody today? Like, how are you a business owner and you did not try to, get a client today? So yeah, I really like
that's a good point.
I got that.
Yeah. It's like you have your door up and it says closed.
Right. Basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna remember that one.
Right.
That'll help me a lot.
So the question, you're on the Abundant Culture podcast. So we have to ask all of our guests, how do you spread abundance? Whether that's individually or, together.
Yeah. Well, I think the way we spread abundance, and honestly, this has been like kind of like a challenge, but at the same time, like as I'm getting older and wiser and just so much more aware of my life, right? It's like speak from the truth, right? Speak from your own experience, because like you can Google right now anything you want and you'll find everything in the world, right? But if you're just speaking from the truth, people can actually validate that because you're proof. You're walking, living proof of that.
Yeah.
But speaking from the truth.
Yeah, and I think that, every day, like by our example, as far as going in and like sometimes we may not know it all the time because not like, people are watching, right? But they may not like send a message out or anything of like, this is inspiring me or whatever it may be. But I feel like the abundance is showing up every day and giving our energy and everything to like every call. Like we really want it for people, you know, so showing up every day, like every single day, like there's no day, like we have never missed a day of not showing up. Like, I don't know how long, whether it's through a post, through stories, through whatever, that consistency of like giving that abundance right now. And even on our phone calls with our clients or even on our appointments, like we give everything, it's not like we're like you mentioned, I don't know if there's a secret sauce or anything, like literally there's nothing that we're hiding from anybody.
Yeah.
Like literally, like if I'm trying to sell a course, I already told you the whole course on the call. Like literally I just did that. I told you every step, the details of the step, you could take it and you can go, you know what I mean? So I feel like right now that's, just the example of showing up every day and, giving, even though it can be tough a lot of times or you feel like it may not be noticed or appreciated, as an entrepreneur, business owner, because everyone goes through that as you're expanding. But yeah, continuing to show up through it all.
Yeah. Don't get weighed down on all the noise out there. Because it's true, there's a lot. You can listen to this one, you can compare yourself to that, you can even think that person's doing great when in reality they're not. So it's like you just have to stay focused on you.
Yeah, really. Yeah, I agree with all those points just because like, in this day and age, in our social media age, it can be hard to be vulnerable and speak from the truth. And then also that idea of showing up every single day
and giving it your all.
Yeah, that's very intimidating for a lot of people. And then just blocking out that noise, I feel like it's just so important. Like those are some amazing key points. So if you're listening to this, like write those down because that's key in entrepreneurship. That's a real practical piece of advice that you can actually implement today. Yeah.
So for the person that they already have the money and they're like, yeah, I need some help with this. Or the people that maybe they don't really have any money, but they just want to like see how you guys do things. So maybe they can put in the sweat equity like you guys do. Or maybe they just really like you guys and they just want to have a quick conversation just to, I don't know, mastermind or something. How do they get into contact with you?
Yeah, great question. So, we would love to talk to anyone that wants more information or if you're ready to get started now. You can go to www.IVLeadz with the Z.com, IVLeadz.com. You can answer those quick questions there and we'll be in touch with you. Or you can directly call our office. We're in Austin, Texas. So you can call 832-542-8337 directly. Like you can give us a call now and somebody will be there to speak with you, whether it's one of us or somebody on our team. So, and also check us out on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook. We're most active right now on Instagram. So
our YouTube channel is building up. So get ready. There's going to be a lot more stuff in there. Some juicy content.
Nice. Can't wait. Definitely. Yeah. I know during this podcast, I thought you guys lived in like 4 different places because I was like, wait, Vietnam, Thailand. I'm like, all right, where do they stay now? So it's Austin.
We're in Austin, Texas. Yeah.
Okay.
You guys should come visit one day.
Oh yeah,
we
definitely.
are.
Yeah,
We are.
we'll definitely be down soon.
When are you guys coming?
You said to Texas?
Yeah, when are you gonna come visit?
I have no clue, but
we have a long list of places to visit next year.
Yeah,
so
like in 2020
next year.
Yeah, it'll be next year for sure because we gotta travel a lot.
Yeah.
But we'll also be at GrowthCon as well. So
yes,
nice.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll see you there in February.
Could not miss it. Could not miss it for the world.
This is gonna be awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
So thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yes.
No problem.
We're so proud of you. We appreciate you guys. And yeah, you guys are awesome people that are going to have lots more success coming your way.
Yes.
Thank
I think
you so much.
Just people like y'all that have a good heart and that are not scared to speak their truth and just show up. I think that's what is the secret sauce.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
So that's all we have for today, folks. I hope you got as much value out of this as we did. Keep in mind, the only way we can improve is through constructive feedback. So remember to rate and review this episode. Also, you are not the only person that needs to know this super valuable information. So be sure to subscribe and share as well. Stay tuned for the next episode. And remember to always spread abundance. Peace.